Yeah, this video probably make a video about my story, whatever. So essentially I had a situation where I couldn't control what was in my mind, or couldn't control my mental state, or couldn't control my mental state and emotional state. So essentially I wasn't under an influence of any drugs or anything like that. I just couldn't discern what was going on with me in reality. So I just was paranoid. So essentially, I need to get somebody's attention. And I went because I actually thought that I was gonna die. First, let's go from the beginning. From the beginning in the story. So in junior year of my high school, I had a third eye awakening. So the third eye is part of your brain called the pineal gland that is responsible for spiritual awakening. This is part. And I applied a technique, a process that would open this third eye. And essentially what happened is that I began to see things in a different way. And this actually helped me, when I did this process to open up this third eye, when during during junior year, I actually tangibly felt infinity. Like I felt infinity, like the cosmos. Like it was the first time I actually felt that sensation of infinite. And essentially what happened is that I felt this sensation, this infinity sensation. And from that moment on, all my beliefs about the world, relative to philosophical beliefs or spiritual beliefs, or I was agnostic, but that changed for me in that moment. Then I became more spiritual, or I became more aware. I don't like to use the term more spiritual. Became more aware, because a plant is spiritual. Anything is spiritual. So everything is spirit. So became more aware. And so because I became more aware, I actually gave up doing school stuff. And I was doubting my own purpose in life in that moment. So I was not in a good place. So from that moment on, I got C's in junior year. In senior year, I failed school. In senior year, and Oh yeah, in senior year, I couldn't control my mental state, or I couldn't control my control my mind. So because I couldn't control my mind, I kind of went nuts. So I was asking for help, but couldn't communicate what was going on with me internally. So I was asking kind of like for help from other sources, from siblings and whatever. And I couldn't communicate. I wanted to communicate something specific, but I couldn't. Essentially, what happened is that I ended up lashing out, and my dad called the police on me. My dumb ass, my dummy dad, my dumb dad, my retard dad called the police on me. And the ambulance came, and essentially they took me to the mental hospital. So essentially they took me out to this mental institution, mental hospital. And they didn't give me an option. They just forced me to take medication because essentially the cause or the situation that at hand was too severe for them to actually believe that I actually had control over my own free will or whatever. Or so in this mental institution, they gave me this medication. It's this antipsychotic narcotics drug. They force injected it into my bloodstream. It's like being raped. It was so bad. Because essentially what they did is that they, from broad daylight, they took me out and put me in an ambulance. It's like being raped. It's exactly the same thing. And because they couldn't control what was, they didn't know what was going on with me. So what happened is that they put me in this mental institution for 2 weeks. I was there 2 weeks. They put me out. And so my mom essentially forced me or pressured me to take this medication, this antipsychotic drug. And also my mom wanted me to get a job. So I got this, and I went to school too. So I went to school to finish my high school degree for senior year. I graduated a year late or half a year late. And then some credits. I was going to Bellevue College there, taking class there. Graduated half a year late. Yeah. So essentially, I finally got my degree. Finally. And when I got my degree, I was working this job. Essentially, I decided that I was going to give up on this medication. I'll tell you, for a couple of months. And my mom found out and she got really pissed off. And essentially, she gave me an ultimatum saying that either I apply for disability, either I continue taking this medication, or she'll kick me out. That was pretty much what she pressured me to do. I wasn't taking medication for a long time. This medication that I was taking, by the way, was changing my whole entire personality. It was making me feel worse because I wouldn't feel anything. So that's not a good thing. So basically, it's a loss of me. So all in all, this experience benefited me, but at what cost? but what happened next is that I made a conscious decision to become homeless because I was so sick of living my life, and essentially I decided that nothing else was more worth it than just giving up on everything, because I needed progression from that point on, and I couldn't live in that environment anymore with my mom. So I became homeless for about when I became homeless, I made new friends, or I met new people there, and essentially I got a food stamp card. I was in Seattle. I had a phone. I was texting people. I was getting help. I was like surviving, and I felt freedom too. I felt a lot of freedom there, being there. Um, um, so with newfound freedom, I wanted to get a job naturally, or I wanted to get sort of like income and apartment. So that's when this actually happened when I was 19 years old. So I ended up going to the mental hospital the second time. Oh, when I was 19, I'm gay. I lost my virginity to a guy when I was homeless. So so um so I ended up going to mental hospital again because of a situation where I felt where yeah. So we're at a yeah, so I ended up being there for about 2 months, and I was taking these drugs, or these antipsychotics they gave me. It made it look like I was supposed that I had to take them or whatever. I was there for 2 weeks, and then I was there for 2 months. When they got me out of there, they put me into a shelter where I was taking these antipsychotics, not really antipsychotics, well, yeah, these mood pills, or like mood stabilizers or whatever. I was taking this medication, um, and um, um, I was taking this medication, and while taking this medication, I was at this youth shelter, and I got a job at like Target, and I was working at this job at Target for a year, and I saved money, like I saved $3,000. And during May of 2018, when I was 20 years old, I um essentially rented a place or a room where I was paying money for that room, and that was during it was during May 2018 when I was 20 years old. And I have this room, right? I have this room. And I made new friends. I went on a date and I made new friends that were gay. And I got their numbers, and I actually had friends for the first, not for the first time, of course, but like I was part of a adult like friend group, or say like part of an actual like group of friends. um and and essentially what went on is that ended up that that for some reason we just went our separate ways with these people, these gay people. And let's see. And I started, was it next year or like spring of 2020 or spring of 2019, I started going to school. And right now I'm sitting here and I've been to school for 2 years. Yep.